Swiss people usually, or Swiss players like structured product. And then there is this new segment, this new development, which we can see where GenTwo is a very important player. Of course, 1 year back it was very much about AI. This year a lot was about crypto.
This is the Assetizer podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tom Lyons. This is the Assetizer podcast, and today I'm very pleased to welcome to the show Georg von Wattenwyl.
Thank you.
Georg is a seminal figure in the Swiss structured products industry and a guy who's kind of seen it all. He's the head of structured product solutions at Vontobel, as well as the chairman of the Swiss Structured Products Association. And I think we'll get to talk a little bit about both of those hats that you wear today. And first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very happy to have this podcast together with you, Tom.
Before we get started into the topics we wanted to cover, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional background.
Happy to share a bit about my background, which started as a derivative fixed income trader already in the 90s at Credit Suisse First Boston. And then I was approached in the late 90s by Bank Vontobel, who started the business with a structured product that time back. And they were looking for an expert on the fixed income side. So that was the reason how I managed to move to Vontobel, where that business just took off. And then 2019, I moved on to Asia. So I was pleased to run the Asian operation as a CEO, Vontobel Singapore, for the next 5 years.
Okay.
And then I came back end of 2023 and took over the actual responsibility. And then afterwards, coming back, I took over the chairmancy of the Swiss Association of Structured Products.
So that leads us very nicely into the whole Swiss structured products industry, which is a world leader as far as I understand it, and a real sort of where the pioneering work happened and a lot of the innovation happened. Not everybody outside of Switzerland is aware of this. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about how structured products grew up in Switzerland and some of the, where we are with the industry now, maybe some of the challenges we face.
Yeah, so I think structured product there in Switzerland always was quite of a I would say essential part of investing. Swiss people usually, or Swiss players like structured products, we can say that. And we have quite a healthy and good regulatory environment and a lot of innovation when it comes to the investment industry. And this was always a good place for structured product. Also, Switzerland managed to develop and also to hire a lot of talents in that segment. And those talents found a good place to innovate. And I think innovation, healthy regulatory environment, and good educated people. I think this was always something which was very fruitful for the industry. Also, I think what is special when it comes to Switzerland, or we compare a bit to other regions, is this kind of community. So the community which collaborates, which has a common goal to enforce structured product ability in an investment universe. And so this was also something which I think was very important the last couple of years for this development of that market here in Switzerland. And of course, there's a lot of money to invest. There's big wealth management, asset management hub as well, and therefore there's good interest for investing.
So in a sense, you're saying it's a bit of a perfect storm here in Switzerland for this kind of innovation.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to your Vontobel hat for a second, you were one of the driving forces behind Deritrade, which was a early and pioneering structured products platform. maybe tell us a bit about. And there's also a big connection between Deritrade and GenTwo,
Yeah,
which
true.
we'll get into. So maybe you
True.
can tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I thank you for saying that I was one of the drivers. I think I was not a technical guy, so we always at Vontobel we always had people which are very technical affine and also very innovative on platforms. In the beginning, I was the typical sales, which was a bit more skeptical about all these innovations or
Interesting.
automation and so on, until I got convinced, of course, when I saw that automation helps to do our job very well, and our clients like this new way of investing into structured product. And yes, I was lucky that I was in a team which was very technical affine and did a lot of development and already started very early in this with this technology, Deritrade and platform, which goes back to 2006, where we saw the starting point of that platform. Yeah.
Can you tell people what Deritrade is?
Deritrade is a platform where our clients, usually financial intermediaries, banks, external asset managers, and so on, they can create their own structured product in a very customized way. Today, this is also multi-issuer, so they are free to choose with whomever paper they want to deal with, and so on. So it's a very flexible platform and helps a lot in customization for solutions for private clients or whatever investor type this is.
And to get to that GenTwo connection, one of the key players there on the technical side was Patrick Lupfen, who
Correct,
happens to be the chairman of GenTwo. And, he talks about in the book we wrote, he talks about how, that experience really provided an inspiration to get GenTwo off the ground.
Yeah. No, Patrick Lupfen did a lot for Vontobel and was a bit of one of the fathers as well, if not the main father of Deritrade and the development of Deritrade. And we can be very grateful for everything he did for Vontobel, and he always had visions how to implement structured product into investment environment, and we benefited a lot of it, and now most of us here and GenTwo does as well. Right?
Yeah, we're kind of carrying on the flame in a way. So, which also brings us to the next thing. Maybe now to switch hats again, back to the Structured Products Association. So, GenTwo just joined about a month ago. So you welcomed us into the fold on the SSPA, and correct me if I'm wrong, but are we one of the first fintechs or sort of first maybe less traditional players coming to the SSPA?
We already have a couple of fintechs, but more a bit on technology, pure technology side, and I think GenTwo is something a bit in between, because somehow you are as well issuer, right, with your issuance solutions, and on the other hand you have a lot of technology and so on. So this business model is quite unique, and there we are very grateful to have you on board now. So this was also a bit of convincing, of course, and we have to convince a lot about all the advantages to be part of a community. So you were always a part of a community, but also take a bit of responsibility for our industry. And I think this is also something which I mentioned in the beginning. This is very important that we collaborate as an industry. We commune. We have a platform where we can develop as well in for the good of all the members and all the players in that industry. And so we are very happy that GenTwo is now as well a member, and definitely will bring its inputs when it comes into more non-traditional structured product investments, which is a very good thing, of course. So I'm very happy.
So from your side, as coming from the traditional side, how do you envision this sort of sort of, it's not a clash, but I mean, we are coming in with a very different point of view. How, what do you hope to profit from, or how do you see these cultures merging?
I think structured product, and I talked in the beginning. I talked a bit about the regulatory environment, which is pretty good, right? And there's also space for, let's say, a bit more non-traditional solutions, and understand structured product as an environment, a type of investment. A type of investment which is a bit more liberal than other types are. Of course, this comes on one hand with opportunity, with new possibilities, comes on the other hand as well with responsibility, right? And when I talk about responsibility, means also well this kind of a non-traditional insurance, of course. So it's very important that also on that side we give that leeway, but on the other hand as well we make sure that our investors understand about the new opportunities, but also understand about the new risks. And I think there is also a bit of the collaboration we are doing together with the association, that we try to convey as well a bit more on that side, that structured product can come from traditional part. Usually these are normal banks which are issuing those ones, and then there is this new segment, this new development which we can see where GenTwo is a very important player, of course, which opens opportunities a bit apart, which often embraces a bit investment solutions which are not so liquid, or which are maybe a bit more special and
private stuff, or the exotics,
exactly. And all that together enhances the relevance of structured products, of course, in a investment environment, which is at the end of the day positive for all of us.
What is the SSPA's role exactly? Can I think of it among other things? I'm sure it does community stuff and a lot of different things. Is there a self-regulatory aspect to it?
Self-regulatory aspect is also one of the reasons, but self-regulatory means as well that there's kind of a police or something. This is not the idea, right? So the idea is that we reflect a lot about the developments of our industry. We have expert groups, platforms to talk about those things, and we think what is the best thing for the clients, of course, in terms of quality standards, in terms of transparency, in terms of education, in terms of all that stuff which matters for the industry, and what are the right initiatives to take, right? And so this is where the platform like an SSPA can play an important role.
Maybe to pick up on the education theme, because as I understand it, structured products are fairly well known in Switzerland, maybe less well known outside, or less picked up also these days by retail investors, right? But I think the market should be expanding, and the need as well. So to what extent do we have an educational responsibility, or to what extent is that a bit of a barrier?
First of all, it is a barrier, since if you just see, and I don't know if this is country-wise or culture-wise or whatever, but usually people do not like too much to think about the investments, right? So this is not something which is great fun for everybody.
Press a button and make a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. So press the button and make a lot of money and all these things, of course. But other than that, to think about the opportunities, risks, to think about, to read the term sheet or a fact sheet or whatever, it's definitely not the best hobby for people outside there. Nevertheless, structured products, we know that they can contribute greatly to, let's say, wealth planning, to tactical investments, to whatever, and so therefore to overcome this hurdle, I think it's very much about education, and we need to find ways. So of course, every issuer, every player, I'm sure as well GenTwo is doing. So they do have their own instruments, how they access and attract their ideas and product. But as an industry, we can take it a bit more comprehensively. And we can say, okay, we are a platform, we try to explain, we try to bring transparency, trainings, and so on. What are the best measures to do that? And to that 2025, so we started our Traders Cup, which is a way of attracting our clients or potential clients of the industry in a funny way or in a good way, so kind of gamification, where they can invest virtually into structured products. They can create their portfolios. They can follow their portfolios. They can check their performances and so on. And it is a cup that means there are some nice prizes as well for people which do well and to have the greatest performance and also a bit risk reward and all this stuff which is important. So this is a thing which is very much supported by all the members and the players of the industry, but they need a platform who can bring them this game to the people. And so this was the Traders Cup. And if you go there and you check the webpage and all this, then you will also find a lot of enabling, a lot of education stuff, a lot of expert views and things like that. And so that's a way how we try to attract more people to think about investing, and maybe if investing, then also think about structured products.
I can imagine that could be very, very alluring to people, very interesting to.
Yeah, it is.
play around.
So the first round was pretty successful. Not as much participants as we hoped for, but still quite a decent number. But what was very interesting is how active they were using this platform, and they were very, very interested in all these contributions of the members. But on the other hand, they were also quite active in investing. Of course, leverage was the one which they were mostly interested. Of course, that's most fun. But also we could see quite good activities in the investment product. So that's the first success, and the next round now starts very soon.
Did it attract young people?
Yeah,
Because I was thinking like a game,
Yeah, it is. I think it's a mix. It's a mix. Maybe I think we should approach a bit the young ones, of course, and we feel that the young ones as well. For example, they do it differently than we did a couple of years ago. So when they check about markets or whatever, they use different channels. They are more affin to so-called influencer or influencers and things like that. And so these are ways which we have to consider, and when we are planning those things, and we have experts which are doing that very well, and so therefore this was a good success, and as well in terms of a younger generation attraction.
Georg, we've been talking about different types of underlyings and exotics. We've been talking about young people just now, which brings us very naturally to the world of crypto. Crypto investing. You appeared at the Asset Rush event of GenTwo's about a month ago, and you spoke about crypto, about what Vontobel's been doing, and maybe you can expand a bit on that.
Yes, with pleasure. So I think it was interesting as well to see when at Asset Rush, and Asset Rush is also kind of sometimes a bit trendsetter, right? So meaning you can see what all the newcomers in the industry, what they are thinking about, what is the recent trend. And I remember 1 year back we were there as well. It was very much about AI and the AI-driven investment solution. This year a lot was about crypto, and of course we also talked about crypto, and I think more and more people are talking about crypto. It gets more and more as interesting as maybe as a currency, as an investment, whatever, and more people talking about it, more media talking about it, maybe regulator looks at it and so on, means that something also gets matured in a way, if you can say that. And getting mature means more people want to invest, and then it is about bring solutions which are okay in terms of complexity, which are accessible, which are also maybe a bit more for retail investors and so on. And so that was our topic. So we talked about some solution which Vontobel together with other partners launched recently as quite a good solution, also from a regulation point of view, which were launched in Europe. Yeah. So as kind of an answer to the ETFs we could see in the US. Right?
If I remember correctly, you compared this kind of maturity curve a bit to gold, right?
Yes.
In terms of the product.
Yes, this was there was when it was a bit of a similar situation when people wanted to start to invest into physical gold, but they didn't want to bring that gold into their safe. It needs something which is you can kind of a bankable asset, right? And so therefore an ETF was not the right solution because you couldn't do an ETF on just one single underlying. So that's why the innovation was together with partners to create this kind of Xetra solution together with the Deutsche Börse. And so this was this Xetra Gold. And today this solution on crypto, Bitcoin, and Ethereum is a bit of the same. So it's the same construction. It's also kind of a partnership with players around the full value chain, and also with qualitative and also regulated custody. And so this was a bit of the same model or idea. And if you compare that today, if you see Xetra Gold, I think it's the most relevant physical gold product in Europe today. So I don't know if the other ones get the similar way, but nevertheless, from a concept point of view, I think it's a pretty good thing.
Maybe then we can talk, getting back to the industry in Switzerland. What can we do, or what can Switzerland do to do better on exporting, let's say, the structured products, or to better export structured products and the whole thinking behind it, and that education outside of Switzerland globally?
Mm-hmm. I think Switzerland is a very, very strong wealth management and asset management hub, right? So therefore, I feel like Switzerland is also in kind of a responsibility to innovate in a way.
Mm-hmm.
As well, we have the environment, which I mentioned in the beginning, as well-educated people, regulatory environment, and all that, which supports good financial and investment solutions. And I think this is going to continue. And I feel as well the willingness of Switzerland and Swiss structured product industry to be kind of an innovator and be kind of a leader when it comes to new trends and so on. And that started already very early. And remember 2006 or something, when Switzerland appeared with the derivative map, right? So the derivative map, which today is standard in most of the important financial centers. So this was already, so Switzerland likes to set a bit standards when it comes to structured products, and this willingness is definitely here. And on the other hand, of course, Switzerland is a great hub as well for international wealth, and so automatically, if those solutions are implemented in this wealth, then you get kind of an.
You see it in your account or in your
exactly
in your portfolio, and then you talk to your friend about it, and stuff like that. Okay, that's fantastic. We've been almost half an hour, which is just really nice. I guess we could close with talking about where things go from here. Where you see structured products in 5 years, and 10 or 15, how the industry might keep this maturity going.
Yeah. I think today we talked at the beginning as well a bit of this highly automated way of creating structured product with customization. So today it's possible to have your own structured product already for a very small amount of investment, which was not possible or you couldn't imagine 10 or 15 years ago. So this is highly degree of automation is already here, and it's a very transactional business, of course. I think the next steps, which I would expect from an industry point of view, is on one side to get that very transactional business, which will remain, of course, but we get more solutions as well, which can be implemented in a longer term wealth management, asset management strategy, right? So not so much just on the tactical side, but maybe as well a bit on the longer term side, that you have then instruments which you buy and then put it as a kind of a core investment into your portfolio, right? So this is one thing. Also something which the association tries to support with a new benchmark index, which will help to understand the performance of a structured product better from a broader context.
Okay.
That is something which we definitely can help, and that is something which we wish as an industry that we can make that step into this more asset management, wealth management solution. The other thing is maybe on first. Sorry to just to add that. We also saw just recently a first ETF which invests into auto call structures, which is also interesting, right? So this is kind of bringing together this ETF kind of thinking and auto callable structured products, which is two great things that you can put together, and there's this long-term solution for clients then. And the other thing is a bit the embedding into portfolio management flows. So meaning today I think it's still a bit cumbersome, a bit too much of interruption when it comes to implementing structured product into a portfolio in a day-to-day work, right? So meaning you create a product and afterwards you have to check it in terms of does it fit to the portfolio, does it fit to the investment idea of the clients, a lot of clicks in between and so on. I think there can be much more automated versions, which makes the life for the portfolio managers and maybe even advisors managing the portfolio for clients simpler. And this also will help then, both will help to leverage or to benefit a bit from the advantages structured product can play in an investment universe, right? So this would be for me the two main trends we're going to see over the next couple of years.
I was just curious, maybe this is not a relevant question, but you talk a lot about automation. Is that also going to be a force for disintermediation? For people may not need the middleman necessarily, or is that already kind of there?
Yeah, I think maybe to a certain extent. Yeah, so that we are not there that the end client is creating their own structured products. We are not there. Usually, this is the job today of a financial intermediary, right? Or a bank or an external asset manager who understands the idea of the client as the investment outlook and brings that together to good solutions for the end client. But I think this still is something you cannot just shift to the end client. You're not there. If that once will be the case, I don't know, in many years or so, then of course we would see such a trend. Yeah. Okay. But I don't think that this will come soon.
Cool. All right. Well, that's great. We've gone through all of this. Anything we missed, in your opinion?
No, I think these were very good questions. Thank you very much for that.
In that case, we'll sign up. So, Georg, that was fantastic. Thanks very much, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure.